Carlo Acutis is the first millennial saint who was beatified last October 10, 2020. He was born in London on May 3, 1991, but grew up in Milan, Italy. His parents were Andrea and Antonia Acutis. As a child, he stood out for his joy, generosity, and great love for God. He said that the Eucharist was his highway to heaven. He went to Holy Mass and prayed the Rosary every day. He participated in volunteer work and his friends loved him very much. At the age of 7, he first received Holy Communion. When he was 11 years old, he received the sacrament of confirmation. Carlo was a leader, charismatic and friendly. It was easy to become his friend. His attitude and his words left a mark on those who met him. No one remained indifferent. He was always there for everyone, for homework or for advice, for his classmates and for the poor. He never missed his daily commitments to pray the Rosary, to join Holy Mass, and to have Eucharistic adoration before or after the Mass. To be always close to Jesus is the program of his life. Everyone in the neighborhood knew him. When he passed by on his bike, he would stop to greet the doorkeepers, many Muslims or Hindus. He told them about himself, his faith, and they listened to this nice young man. At lunch, he would put the leftover food in food containers to bring to the homeless of the area. His family employed a Hindu housekeeper named Rajesh. A deep friendship formed between him and Carlo to the point that the man converted and asked to receive the sacraments. Rajesh recounts, "He said that I would be happier if I drew close to Jesus. I got baptized a Christian because he communicated to me and electrified me with his faith, his charity, and his purity. I always considered him beyond normal because such a young, handsome, and rich man normally prefers to live a different life." But Carlo did not know what a different life meant. He was a normal teenager who strived to be the best version of himself, living the ordinary in an extraordinary way. For him, money was not to be wasted. He used his first savings to buy a sleeping bag for a homeless man he often saw on the way to Mass instead of buying another video game, and he would donate money to the Capuchins who served lunches for the homeless. He used the advice of Mother Teresa to help those in need around us. His funeral was packed with many of the city's poor residents whom he had helped. As a young teenager, Carlo enjoyed putting on his diving goggles and playing fetch trash from the bottom of the sea. When he took the dogs out for a walk, he always picked up whatever garbage he came across. It was his way of improving his corner of the world. He loved playing soccer, video games, and had a sweet tooth. Carlo could not say no to Nutella or to ice cream. Putting on weight made him understand the need for self-control, which was one of the many struggles he had to overcome, starting by the simple things. He used to say, "What's the use of winning 1,000 battles if you can't beat your own passions?" When he was gifted a diary, he decided to use it to track his progress. Good marks if he behaved well, and bad marks if he did not meet his expectations. Carlo was a natural jokester as per his mother. His classmates would burst out in laughter at his remarks, and so would the teachers. Since he realized it could annoy and disrupt others, he made an effort to change in that regard as well. Making life pleasant for those around him through little acts was a constant in his life. Purity was very important to Carlo. "Each person reflects the light of God," was something he commonly said. It hurt him when his classmates did not live according to Christian morals. He would encourage them to do so, trying to help them understand that the human body is a gift from God and that sexuality had to be lived as God intended. For him, sexuality is something very special, as it was collaborating with God's creation. Pope Francis once quoted about Carlo, "He knew how to use the new communication technology to transmit the gospel, to communicate the values and beauty." Carlo's true passion was the Eucharist, which led to his mother's conversion, who had only gone 3 times to Mass in her life. She was influenced by her son's affection for Jesus that she enrolled herself in a theology course so she could answer all the questions of her young son. At the age of 9, Carlo started to be amazed with technology. He was very talented with computers and programming. He studied manuals and apps and used this to evangelize in internet. One time, he went to a show of a movement he joined. He wondered why there was nothing exhibited about the Holy Eucharist. In 2002, he began to investigate the Eucharistic miracles that occurred in history. He designed his own website that aims to share Jesus in the Eucharist through a comprehensive collection of these Eucharistic miracles around the world traced in history. It comprises of 160 panels which have also been printed and made rounds as exhibit to more than 10,000 parishes in the world. He would repeatedly say, "They have to see, they have to understand." He was worried on the lack of faith of people. He felt guilty for many souls could go to hell if he did not pray. He felt responsible and do something to help others and do sacrifices for them. He believed all people are born originals, but many die as photocopies. To not die as photocopies, we have to receive the Eucharist because each time we receive communion, Jesus do some change in us even if we do not notice it. In summer 2006, Carlo asked his mother, "Do you think I should be a priest?" She answered, "You will see it by yourself. God will reveal it to you." At the beginning of that school year, he did not feel well. It seemed like a normal flu, but the result of his diagnosis revealed that it was one of the worst types of leukemia. His reaction was striking. "I offer to the Lord the sufferings that I will have to undergo for the Pope and for the Church, so as not to have to be in purgatory and be able to go directly to heaven." On October 12, 2006, on the feast day of the Our Lady of the Pilar and Our Lady of Aparecida, the 15-year-old Carlo Acutis died at exactly 6:45 in the morning. His remains was transferred to Assisi, Italy in 2007. For Carlo, "I die in peace because I've lived my life without wasting a single minute doing things that aren't pleasing to God." The cause for his canonization began as soon as he died. On May 13, 2013, he was named Servant of God, the first of the steps towards sainthood in the Catholic Church. On July 5, 2018, he was named Venerable, the second of the 4 steps towards sainthood. Following his beatification, the third step to sainthood, on October 10, 2020, his doctors and hospital chaplain recalled their memories of his final days. Father Sandro Villa was the hospital chaplain of St. Gerald Hospital outside of Milan who gave Carlo the anointing of the sick and Holy Communion on October 10, 2006, the day before Carlo went into a coma due to a brain hemorrhage caused by his leukemia. Father Sandro shared at an event in Assisi, October 13, that he was touched by Carlo's composure and devotion in receiving the sacraments in the hospital room. In a small room at the end of the corridor, I found myself in front of a boy. His pale but serene face surprised me, unthinkable in a seriously ill person, especially an adolescent, he said. I was also amazed by the composure and devotion with which, albeit with difficulty, he received the two sacraments. He seemed to have been waiting for them and felt the need for them. For Father Sandro, this administration of the sacraments would be his only encounter with Carlo, but he said that the look of serenity on Carlo's face was something that stayed with him. After a few years, I learned that he was declared venerable. I was amazed that the Lord had allowed me to meet him, if only for a few moments, he said. He continued, I decided to learn about his life. I discovered that he was in love with the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist, and I therefore began to better understand some of his words. The two doctors who treated Carlo in the pediatric clinic of St. Gerald Hospital recorded their memories together in a paper that was read aloud at the event. They said, Carlo was like a meteor with a quick passage through our ward. Leukemia took him away before we could get to know him even a little. However, his sweet eyes remained ingrained in our memories. His gaze was full of attention, of courage, of love, of strong empathy. His faith in God, which he had wanted and still wanted to pass on to others, to his neighbor, shone through him. His gentle eyes taught us a lot. Life, whether short or long, must be lived intensely for oneself, but also and above all for others. On November 2019, a miracle attributed to Carlo's intercession was officially recognized by the Church. It was the healing of a Brazilian child with a rare congenital anomaly of the pancreas in 2013. The child touched Carlo's relics, the parish priest recounts. He wasn't able to eat anything, neither solid food nor even liquids, but shortly afterwards he was healed. The day after Carlo's beatification, Pope Francis said, Yesterday in Assisi, Carlo Acutis, a 15-year-old boy in love with the Eucharist, was beatified. He did not settle into comfortable inaction, but grasped the needs of his time, because in the weakest he saw the face of Christ. His witness shows today's young people that true happiness is found by putting God first and serving Him in our brothers, especially the least. Let's make a round of applause for the new young blessed Millennial. Today, Blessed Carlo's heart is considered a relic and is contained in a reliquary in Assisi that is inscribed with his words, "The Eucharist is my highway to heaven."